Part of the reason I wanted to have a town hall today is to share some of the news that we shared via blog earlier this week with some changes that we're rolling into AltspaceVR starting this week and moving forward in time. So to kind of TLDR the conversation and the blog that we put out there, we put a few changes today that you're going to start seeing. The first one is we removed some of our shared spaces like the campfire that were just open all the time with not a lot of purpose. Altspace is such an event-driven community where people come in here to hang out with friends, to make new ones, and to ultimately be able to go to a specific event. So we wanted to more and more streamline the process and make it easy for people to just, as soon as they can, get in the space that they want, and in that moderated space, also be able to have better, more moderated, and more secure tool set inside of it. The defaults in Altspace to again, try to keep people by default more safe in the space. You probably have noticed that we flipped the mute option from by default unmuted instead be by default muted to again as more and more people come into the space, really make sure that people are in control of when they want to speak and not inadvertently disrupt places without meaning to. And then the last change we put into place is around the safety bubble, right? And this idea of being able to put a bubble around you, which again is a feature we've had for a very long time in Altspace, but we now, with this change, flip the default. And now instead of having something that you turn on, we have the bubble as something you need to turn off as you go through it. And then ultimately, to keep the place safe and secure for all of our 13 plus kids in the space, we're also enforcing integration with Microsoft accounts, so that as people come into Altspace, we can have parents in control and really tie into the robust family settings that we have in the system to again make sure that parents feel safe having their kids come into the space. So these changes all rolled out this week in Altspace, and we'll continue to monitor, take feedback, and work with the community to make sure that this is always the most welcoming place, the most fun place, and a place where people come to essentially hang out, make new friends, and see some pretty amazing events. You see that our moderators have some new tricks now as well. They're easy to find. You see that all of our moderators have these little coins on top of their heads, so that you're never very far in any one of the events or worlds that we have to be able to find a moderator and go talk to them if you need to. So those are the main changes that we wanted to talk about today. And like anytime we make changes within Altspace, our tradition is to then do a town hall afterwards and open it for dialogue to make sure that as we continue to build this community together, and it's our community, right, that we have rich, robust dialogues on the changes that we're making to keep the community going. With that, I'd love to open it up for some questions. A lot of you have been posting questions online over the last few days since we posted a blog post, and I'm super excited to have Lila here to essentially host the moderated Q&A with us. Hi, Lila.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone. Thank you for submitting your questions. We received a lot of questions from the community, a lot of which were very much similar. And due to time, we're going to do our best to get through them. So, Alex, I'm gonna start with the list of questions that I have here, and if we have time, we might be able to open it up. So, one of the questions is, why are you making these changes now?
Well, I think as the community grows, again, as I kind of mentioned, we're always observing, right? So we're making these changes now, but we make changes all the time, right? And we'll continue making changes. These particular changes, as we see more and more worlds happening, more and more events taking place, we've just been observing, the type of conversations that are happening in the spaces. We've been listening to feedback, and it's reasonable right now to start rolling these changes based on just observing what's going on and continuing to listen to the community and based on that, moving forward.
Okay, great. Thank you. You call out AltSpace as an events-based platform. Does this mean that worlds will be going away?
Absolutely not. It's a great question. We love all the world builders that we have in AltSpace. We love that tool set, and we love the purpose of all the different worlds that we have. From the virtual Burning Man world that we've created and hosted now for 2 years, to more recently the United Nations Act Now world that I hope many of you had a chance to go experience. We love the creativity of the folks building worlds, and if anything, we're investing more tooling to make it easier and more flexible for people to, over time, even do more in that space. So if anything, part of this change of moving away from some of these static shared spaces that will open is really to start moving into more events with more tools for event creators to create better, more immersive events, and as well for world builders to create better worlds, more interactive worlds, and ultimately continue building the conversation forward. So we love you, all world builders. We love all the creativity. We love all the worlds in AltSpace, and no, absolutely, that is not going away. And if anything, we're doubling down on it.
Awesome. Now that Campfire is gone, where do we hang out and meet new people?
In events and in the amazing worlds built by our world builders. When you default into AltSpace, you default into your own home, which you can customize. You can also invite friends to come into your home to hang out, people that you know, and then you can travel, set a portal with those friends and go to different events. Right? And the idea is as you go and hang around and start moving between events with your friends, every event has not only your friends, but also new people. Idea being is that you will continue to make, friends in those spaces with more of a team, right? I walk into a meditation space, to a meditation event. I'm going to find like-minded people that are there to meditate, right? And then I can make new friends on that topic and, free flow between the different spaces, the different purposeful events, the different worlds, and continue to make friends, that way.
Amazing. Question that keeps coming up, can we turn off our safety bubble?
You can absolutely turn off your safety bubble. All we did is really flip the default to make it more, customer friendly for, everybody coming in. But the safety bubble still sits on the menu on the left, right by above the selfie menu, and with one click, you can turn it off. But then you're in control, right? And then you're in control of people coming near you, as opposed to you being brand new to the space, having people come near you, and you perhaps not knowing that there is a safety bubble or how to turn it on, which can be overwhelming as new people come into the space. So it's on by default, but absolutely people can still turn it off.
Excellent. And can we unmute ourselves? We see that we get muted by default when we enter a space today. Are we able to unmute?
Same principle. This is not about removing control from everybody in AltSpace. It's about flipping the defaults so that as the community grows, again, we can, based on usage and data and seeing how people are coming in, really make sure that the default experience is safer for all, but without removing any control from anyone. So again, muting remains in the same place in the menu. It's that icon at the top of your menu, and everybody will still be able to unmute themselves. And this is where you go walk into a event space, and we're giving more moderator tools, more tools and controls for the people creating the events, so that also those folks can, within a given event space, within a given world, continue to use controls like, for example, mute all, for example, megaphone, like I'm using right now, to be able to talk across all rooms so that my voice doesn't decay as you move around. So all that stuff is still there. Muting and unmuting is still a feature, and all we did with this change is just flip the default to ensure as you walk into a space, the mute option is flipped on by default.
Why did you change to a Microsoft account login process?
This is a change we put in place quite some time ago, and really wanted to make sure we gave and spent a lot of time with the community migrating from our legacy identity system into the more Microsoft system. Over the next little bit of time, we're going to flip the Microsoft account as a requirement for folks in AltspaceVR. And the reason being, again, is for safety and all the infrastructure that exists within the Microsoft account. For example, for things like family settings and parental controls. I am super proud that we have a 13 plus as opposed to an 18 plus or 21 plus metaverse, which means there are children 13 and older that roam the space, that come to events, that find new friends, that experience our worlds. And with that in mind, it's also very, very important in the world of responsible ethics for us to make sure that parents, as kids are moving in and out of the space, are in full control of their child's access to online tools, access to events, and any number of things like that. We're pretty soon going to be adding more controls into the events so that people can better label what kind of event it is, what kind of age group is in the events, and really tie then all of that behavior into the Microsoft account so that we can remain 13 plus metaverse with kids roaming our metaverse safely and securely.
Some people have had problems signing into AltspaceVR with their Microsoft login. Is this something that we're looking at?
Absolutely. And why we didn't just, first, apologies for anybody that has had issues logging in with the Microsoft account. It's something that we are absolutely looking at, and why we didn't flip the conversation as mandatory out of the gate. And we've been observing people. Most turns out most people in AltspaceVR today are already using a Microsoft account. There's a minority of people that are still sitting on the legacy accounts, and we continue working the issues, and we will flip it as mandatory to all once we've worked through all of the issues that people are finding. So again, apologies if you're running into issues. Yes, we are looking through it and working to fix it, and I'm confident that before we make it mandatory for all those issues will have been fixed.
Great. And how do we find moderators today if there is no campfire?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see the moderators move to start hanging out inside of events. We're going to start seeing moderators, still hanging out in our custom build worlds. You see that we're adding new iconography to make it even easier for you to find moderators in any of these spaces by just looking at the little cute blue coin that sits over their heads. Moderators will still be labeled as such. So if you click on them, you'll be able to see that on their namer tags. And at any point in time, anywhere in AltspaceVR, anybody can also reach a moderator by simply filing a report. And as soon as they file a report, a moderator will both see it and come find it.
Right, that actually brings up a great point when it comes to third-party spaces. We're going to be providing some moderators. What is our expectation of event hosts?
Yeah, I think, look, more and more as events start taking place, the social contract, in a sense, for the people creating the events is to keep the events to the theme of what the event is, right? This is why we give moderators, for example, tools like Mute All. We give or event creators tools like Mute All. We give them the ability to kick people both permanently or temporarily out of the event. And in my mind, that has been kind of the social contract, that the person that creates the event also moderates the event for what the event is and keeps the community of people there, kind of operating with the purpose of the event. And that kind of remains the social contract going forward. Again, I think we're going to be adding some attribution for event creation over the next little bit of time. So there's going to be a bit more classification that an event creator needs to put into place. What kind of an event? Think about a rating you would put for the event. Is this a 18 plus event? Is this a 13 plus event? And that kind of thing. So you will see that, again, we're going to add more tool set and more attribution for the event creators. But besides that, it remains the kind of social contract of, if you're creating an event, kind of the expectation is you will moderate the event to whatever the purpose of the event is that the event creator chose.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. We know you're a busy man. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the community while we have everyone here?
Yeah, for sure. The space. I'm excited to see the space grow in collaborative computing and metaverse is all up. The industry is heating up for a lot of us that have been here for a long time now. I have friends here in AltspaceVR 5, 6 years ago. It's exciting to see the space bloom. It's exciting to see AltspaceVR continue to grow. And Team Microsoft is just super excited to be able to continue building this future together with you, and ensuring that AltspaceVR remains the best place for people to come make new friends, hang out, and appreciate ever increasing set of events and worlds built around you. So I highly encourage everybody to keep the dialogue going. We love talking to the community. We love listening to the community, and let's building this world together. We're just beginning the journey of really creating an amazing metaverse together. So for myself and everybody in the AltspaceVR team, just a huge thank you for everybody. You are the people that make this community thrive, and we feel quite honored to be able to show up here every day and out with you in the space.
Yeah, I second that sentiment. It's a true honor to be part of this amazing community. Alex, thank you so much for your time today. We started a little early, so I think we can end a little early, but we want to leave the space open for people to be able to hang out, socialize, catch up with friends, and feel free to mingle.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.